Hello Taurus, and welcome to your monthly horoscope for December. As ever, I'm going to give you a broad overview of what you can expect, and then please stay with me. I will dive deep to give you a forensic analysis. Now, the key strands of this month really involve your ruling planet Venus, which is in an alliance with Pluto for the whole of the month. Now, Venus does go into a retrograde on the 19th, but it connects with Pluto exactly on the 11th and the 24th. So those are two key days where you could have some quite intense, would be a strong word, but vivid conversations or thoughts about the reality of a certain involvement in your situation. Because both are in your ninth house, which is very much to do with truth seeking. But in week one, the combination forged a delightful link to Neptune, the planet of dreams, which goes forwards on the first day of the month. And if you have been feeling a bit confused about what the future holds, the people you're aligned to, friendships, I think that can be clarified in week one if you seize the opportunity. But generally, as this month goes on, I think you're going to get a big desire to actually break out somehow, do something more daring. Mercury enters your sign of exploration on the 13th, and although Mars does move into a deep and passionate zone on the same day, which can be quite intense, I think once the Sun arrives in Capricorn on the 21st, you end up with 4 planets all pushing you to be more experimental. Now, of course, this has echoes of what happened a few years ago when you had that stellium of energies in Capricorn, but principally Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto, and we were having those solar eclipses go in between Cancer and Capricorn in turn. So there's going to be a bit of a flavour of that, but the ninth house isn't just about travel in terms of our physical movement. It can be travel inside our minds and our understanding, and the ninth house is very much to do with philosophy, history and most of all truth. So the combination between Venus and Pluto is the key elements of this month for you, but it is going to be very thought-provoking. If you're single, you could meet someone from a completely different culture who really can absolutely change your life, or in an existing relationship, this may be a point of reality. But stay with me for more. If you're new to my channel, I'd be honoured if you would subscribe. Also, if you'd like to get your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning, I've been writing them for over 25 years. You can get your subscription for free underneath this video. And with year 2022 just around the corner, if you'd like to order your personal forecast, I will give you a character analysis the rest of this year free and 30% off based on your time, date and place of birth. Please see the link below. So welcome to your in-depth forecast for December, Taurus. Now, Mars is the planet of passion, and through to the 13th it's in your sector of relating. But also in the first 10 days of this month, it's in a super hot angle to Pluto. Now, Pluto may be a tiny planet. Some people also call it a planetoid these days. Believe me, you can call me Sheila. I'm still going to have the same thoughts, and Pluto will still have the same impact, and that can be enormous. And this is a real galvanizing link, because if there is somebody that you're really drawn to, this will give you the courage and the motivation to really go for it and tell them how you feel. Because relationships really are what this month is about for you, Taurus. Venus, your ruler, yes, it's very sensual. It loves the good things in life. It can like a little bit of luxury. It can like a little bit of organic. It can like a very simple life. It just depends on your unique way of approaching your existence on this planet, but it gives you those needs. But Venus also rules the sign of Libra, and there it's very much more about relating. And because it's traveling through your ninth house all through this month, the ninth house is about widening our understanding. So widening your understanding about how you marshal your resources, but also how you conduct your relationships, I think is going to be a major theme. Now also, of course, Saturn has gone back into a square with Uranus, and this has dominated 2021, and I think we all will be taking a little bit of a breath to work out what the impact's going to be before this year comes to a close. Well, Uranus is in your own sign, so it's about your need to be an individual, and Saturn's in the part of your situation that's to do with work and responsibilities. So all this ninth house energy that's going to develop this month, Mercury on the 13th, Sun on the 21st, all this is really pushing you, I feel, towards breaking away from something that isn't working for you any longer. And that could be a job that's just lost its appeal to you. It doesn't have the same passion. I think your desire for variety, spontaneity, excitement is really going to peak this month. And yet there's a part of you that loves sticking with what you know because you're a fixed sign. So I think it can cause some stress, that push to change something when part of you may prefer to stay with familiarity. But all this energy that's building up in your ninth house, particularly fired up by that glorious combination between Mars and Pluto, is really going to get your celestial juices flowing, and your desire to live life in a very vital way is definitely going to be activated. Now also on the 4th there is a new moon. This new moon forges a sextile to Saturn, that very worthy but stabilising element in your 10th house of work and profession. But the 8th house, where the new moon is concerned, is to do with business. It's to do with being shrewd with resources, particularly shared resources. So if you are someone who's more entrepreneurial, but you want to try some different approaches, coming from the flair that Venus can give you naturally, you can be a wonderful artist, you can have great appreciation of aesthetics. If there's something you want to try differently with your resources, but you go through your due diligence, you really research things, this could be a turning point to bring new revenue into your world or a new way of living. And creating that sense of excitement, I think, is very important, because it's great to have stability. It's absolutely vital to our peace of mind. If we know that we've got a roof over our head, the bills are paid, we feel safe, we're warm, those are fundamental human needs. But if all those things are met, and pretty well we're just going through the pattern of life each day of getting up, having a shower, going to work, going through the processes in a very practical but systematic way, yes, that can give us that sense of stability, but it also can kill off our sense of feeling alive. Sometimes it's important for humans to be a little more daring, and I think that's what this month is saying to you to do. But that new moon is saying also be mindful of being sensible too. So it's finding a balance. Now on the 13th, Mars bursts its way into your 8th house too. Now 8th house energy is hot, and it can be horny. It just depends. So we're coming into the Christmas party season, and obviously depending on COVID, that may see some people much more wary of intimacy, even dancing with people. So there may be less clinches under the mistletoe this year. But Mars certainly will pique up your desire to have a steamy clinch, potentially. If you're much more material minded, Mars can give you the desire to punch your way into the new year doing better as far as ka-ching is concerned. Now on the 19th there's a full moon in Gemini. So obviously the Christmas season can be very expensive. Everything seems to be going up in price. If you're on a limited income, you have kids to think of, that can cause a lot of anxiety, which I really, really get, having had a pretty sort of tricky childhood in terms of the material side of life. But what we can do here, I think, is use your natural creativity to be quite resourceful in terms of how you balance things. So it's a bit like a two of coins tarot card, I think, this full moon. It doesn't mean to say that you won't be able to make it work, but you may have to be a little bit choosy in where you decide to invest certain monies. Now, from the 16th to the 21st, just before the sun does make its way into your sister Earth sign of Capricorn, it's forging an amazing link with Jupiter. Now, at the start of the month, remember Saturn, and all through the month, is a more restraining influence on your need to be a free spirit, Uranus. Then on that new moon, Saturn is a more positive influence on the new moon and shared resources, business, money. But then this influence of Jupiter also in your sector of the world and work and goals and ambitions, it's forging a fantastic link to the sun in Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. So we have a mutual receptivity here, which I think is very, very positive. From the 16th to the 21st, good news could come in, which, covers that full moon period and gives you a bit of uplift, which you will really appreciate. But it is true on the 19th that your ruler does go retrograde. So if you're trying to get to the bottom of a relationship where someone's elusive, evasive, is not really committed in the way you want, I think that could really make you think seriously about whether this is a tie you want to continue with. And the sun moving into Capricorn on the 21st, that gives you, along with Mercury and also Venus and Pluto, 4 major influences in your sector of freedom and independence. So it either feels right, it's either truthful and authentic, or in the most extreme cases, you will break free. Because on Christmas Eve, that square between Saturn and Uranus becomes exact. On Christmas Day, the conjunction between Venus and Pluto once more becomes conjunct. So that can be very special. It could give you the opportunity to really celebrate those relationships where there is that sense of connectivity and mutual understanding. But if there isn't, well, maybe as you come into the end of the year and Jupiter moves back into the sign of Pisces, it was there from the 15th of May and then to the 28th of July before going back into Aquarius, your 10th house. It moves back into your sector of playfulness, sociability, friendship, long-term planning, just as the curtain comes down on the year. So really exciting if you are wanting to have a much more sociable new year, if it's safe to do so in whichever jurisdiction or country or state that you're domiciled in. And there is also a really lovely link between Mars and Saturn as the year comes to a close, which again can be very good for business and finance. So I think you need to be very open-minded this month. One of your great gifts is that you make sure that whatever you do gives you tangible results. That's because you're an earth sign. And of course, security is important to you. Your ruler is Venus, so you like those nice things. The moon's exalted in your sign, so that sense of comfort is lovely. But has it become a bit stupefying in some ways? And that's the big question that you're going to be asking, whether it's about work, your general structure, about relationships. But Venus conjunct with Pluto is asking you to ask some searching questions about where the state of play lies in those deepest bonds. I'd like to wish you a very happy Christmas and New Year. Stay safe, good luck, and goodbye.